Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Engineer Hussein Mwasapi. So in this video, we'll be looking at converting a given measurement in degree, minute, and second, which is basically DMS, to decimal form, or others would prefer to say decimal degrees. Alright, so before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe, as well as to hit that notification bell. Alright, let's get to it. So one thing you need to understand is this. When it comes to us converting degree, minute, second to decimal degrees, all we have to do is just to analyze a given or a particular example. In our case, let's look at this example. So let's call this our example. So say we have a given DMS. So I've been given a DMS, let's pick at random, 187 degrees, 33, that, and 45. Alright, so you have 187 degrees. If you're a Zambian, you know what 187 is. Yep, Chinsachika. Alright, so you have 187, 33, and 45. So these symbols will help you understand. This is simply DMS. So these are the seconds that you have here. And these are the minutes. And these are the degrees. Alright, so other symbols you have to take in consideration are these. They can just literally just represent the seconds that you have, and these minutes, and that's the degrees. Okay, so with this in mind, you can basically now get to the solving. So what do you do every time you've been given a DMS? So these are the steps you have to follow. Step 1. In the first step, you have to convert the seconds you have to minutes. So step 1, convert seconds to what? Minutes. So how are we going to do that? We're going to get our seconds, which is 45, and divide by what? 60. So if we convert 45 into minutes by dividing by 60, we'll get 3/4, which is basically 0.75. So since these and now minutes, we'll put the minute sign. Now what do we have to do next? Now once we convert the seconds to minutes, the next thing we're supposed to do is take the converted minutes and add them to initial minutes that we have. So we're going to take converted minutes and add to initial minutes. I'll just say M0. So be mindful, we're having 187, 33, and 45. So I'm going to get the converted. We found the converted to be 0.75, and I'll add to the initial, which is 33 minutes. And this will give us something which will be 33.75 minutes. Now once you have these minutes, all you have to do is to convert these minutes to degrees, which is step 3. Convert 33.75 to degrees by simply just dividing by 60 as well. So you have 33.75 divided by what? 60. And if you do that, you get 0.5625 degrees. Once you have that, the last step is simply just to sum up the degrees. What I mean by summing up the degrees is getting this degree and summing it up with the initial degree that you have, which is 187. So I'm going to say 187 degrees plus 0.5625 degrees. So if you sum this up, what are you going to get? You'll basically get 187.56 degrees. And this will be 5625 degrees. If you round this off, in most cases I'll say round off this to 1/100th of a degree. So what they simply just imply when they say that is simply just round off to 2 decimal places. So therefore I'll say I'll have 187.56 0.56 degrees. And that would basically be our answer. Now, this is not the only method we have. The other method, which is, I feel like it's the most traditional way, is basically where you use the analogy of an hour, minute, second idea. So imagine, since we had 187 degrees and then we had 33 minutes and 45 seconds. So imagine that this is like an hour, and in an hour we basically have like if I had to ask to say how many seconds do we have in an hour and how many minutes do we have in an hour, all that analogy. But the best way I feel like you can understand this is not to use the hour, minute, second thing, but ask yourself to say, okay, this, let me tell it to be what? My second, minute, then hour. Quite the opposite. So this implies to say that how many seconds do I have in 1 second? So I have 1 second in 1 second, because it's literally a second. And then you ask yourself to say, how many seconds do I have in 1 minute? So you have 1 second, but here I have 60 seconds. And how many seconds do I have in 1 hour? So that would be 3,600. So what you're going to do is just to sum this up. You're going to say 187 divided by 1 plus 33 divided by 60 plus 45 divided by 3,600. And if you sum this up, you will get the same value, which is what we got as 187.5625 degrees. And like I said, in cases where they say round this off to 1/100th of degree, which simply just means 2 decimal places, then the final answer will be 187.56 degrees. At times, they would want to confuse you and just give you like something that is a bit absurd or in a different manner. Say you have an example too, where you have, let's say, 187 degrees and 33 minutes only. Imagine you haven't been given the seconds. What are you going to do? So basically what you're going to do is the same thing, because the goal is to just convert to the degree form, which is what we are just from doing in our previous example. So we're going to convert the minutes to degrees and just sum up the degrees that we have, the initial plus the converted one. So I'm going to say I'll get the 33 divided by 60 and we'll have 0.55 degrees. And I'll sum this up plus the initial degree, which is 187 degrees. And this will give me 187.55 degrees. This is the same as one also just saying, if you use that analogy, or you say this is 1 second, which means you have 1 second. This is a minute. So in 1 minute you have 60. So you're just going to say 187 divided by 1 plus 33 divided by 60, which will still give you the same thing, which is 187.55 degrees. So this is basically how you go about converting degree, minutes, seconds to decimal degrees. Alright, so if you have queries concerning this, you can always reach me out on WhatsApp on the line 077 149 5252. Remember, slow progress is better than no progress. And let's strategize before becoming a statistic, and let's try and push for that A+.